So, hey everybody, Chris Lipper on the bus, small business owner coaching, and welcome to the Hub, where we meet on Mondays and Thursdays at 1 o'clock Pacific, 4 o'clock Eastern. And today's spotlight is Heather Felty from Interpeace Press. And Heather is one of the rock stars that we get to spend time with and does an amazing, amazing job for so many people. She's one of my favorite people to refer because I know it's a safe referral, and she just knocks it out of the park every time. She's worked with me on my books and David's books and I guess Jean's books, and we're going to get to hear a thing or two about her. But before we start, as you know, we always like to ask this question, something maybe a little humorous or embarrassing that we don't know about you and we wouldn't know just by visiting your LinkedIn or Facebook page. Just something that makes you more human and less of a superhero.
Oh, geez, I can't think of anything. All I can think of is my superhero strength. No. Um, well, because I was going to say that I used to translate from Greek to English. So that's something, but that's not embarrassing. That was kind of cool.
It's very cool. I didn't know you did
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, when I lived in Greece, I helped artists who were writing in their books. They would want to have their essay or the art historian's essay or critic's essay in English as well, so it'd be bilingual
So
books.
wait, you
So
lived in Greece? Let's rewind and get in on that one.
yes, yeah, I lived in Greece for about 7 years, and I learned the Greek language, and I can still speak it, and I can write it and read it as well.
Where in Greece?
Athens, right next to
Okay.
the Acropolis. Yep. That's where
I,
my
I've been
son was
I've been
born.
to Patmos once or twice,
Oh, okay. Yeah.
and I've spent some time in Athens. But all right, that's wonderful. Anything else you want to throw in there before you get started?
No, no, that's good. I'll think
Yeah.
of something embarrassing for next time.
All right,
So,
very good. The floor is
okay,
yours.
thank you. I'm going to share my screen and see if I can get this right. There we go. All right. So, um, I know I just spotlighted not too long ago. So some of you, and I know pretty much everybody here, but just to remind you, I'm the publisher of Interpeace Press, where we bring soul stories to life. I started Interpeace Press in 2011 after I was working in the nonprofit art sector for about 25 years. So Interpeace Press is really about bringing soul stories. It's about bringing transformational life stories to a book form so that the reader can not feel alone in what they're experiencing, or for the reader to understand a perspective of a situation that they wouldn't otherwise know about. I pride myself on making good books. And so I take the time to work with authors, whether they have a book ready or whether I'm coaching them on writing a book, is who's this book for? What will the reader gain? And why is the author writing the book? Are they trying to get bestseller, or are they really trying to reach different people in their lives? I provide a number of publishing services. So, as I mentioned, writing coaching, I work with people week by week, or sometimes it's once a month, to help them develop the idea for their book. Again, answer those questions about what the service is for the book. Sometimes people have a manuscript that's already complete, but it needs a little bit of help to see if all the pieces are in the right place, and that's structural editing. Sometimes people know that it's all in the right order. They just need a copy edit. So that's making sure that it's grammatically correct, and, also pointing out any holes that might be there. I also do design and layout, so I can do the inside of the book or the cover of a book. And then that all leads to self-publishing support for individuals whose book doesn't fall in alignment with Interpeace Press's mission. And then I go on to the traditional publishing. And so that's what Interpeace Press is really about. So as a traditional publisher, I own the rights to distribute the book. And then I work with the authors to promote and market their books to make the sales. And I am actively seeking manuscripts. So if you know somebody who's interested and you think that they're in alignment with Interpeace Press, I would love a connection there. So Chris asked this last week, is how many authors have I helped over these past few years? And so just a little over 3 years' time, I have published 18 books, and there are 5 more books due to be released in the next month. So I have been busy. And then there's still another 6 books in production for the coming months. So hopefully, by fall, those will all be complete. I've also supported 11 authors to self-publish 18 books since that time. So Yeah, it's been a lot of work. I love it a lot. I work a lot, but I get a lot of fulfillment from it. So today I'd like to take just a few minutes to talk to you about Jean's book. And Jean, I'm so glad that you're here. So Before You Go is, as Jean mentioned, a death doula's guide to living your best life. I'm going to just read the description of the book. So this book is a matter of life and death. Before You Go guides you towards a conscious relationship with the fact of your own mortality, and through that helps you to envision and step boldly onto the path of your most inspired and authentic life. This book is a workbook, and the work is you. Full of meditations, activities, journaling, and writing prompts, this book connects you deeply to your own wisdom, passion, and vision. It will awaken and affirm your soul's purpose and open the door to a life of meaning and joy. And yes, Jean wrote that, so I'm very proud to be working with her for being so eloquent as well. So Jean is a death doula, a life coach, a yoga teacher, a writer and mother, and also a fellow. I didn't set that up well, but Jean and I went to college together, and we both graduated from the University of Wisconsin in Eau Claire. So her book, Before You Go, has a lot of background information to help you through the process, as Jean mentioned, about living your legacy. And as a yoga person, she understands the importance of meditation and getting centered and understanding who you are so that you can live this legacy in real time and not wait until the very end. So she outlines about not just meditation, there are a lot of other things. I just happened to pick this book to display it. And then one thing is that what is so cool about making the books and designing books is every book kind of needs its own thing. And so for this book, because Jean has activities and journaling and meditations, is that each different section has a different kind of feel, a different look. So here's a meditation. I thought I might also read this. This is very small, so I'm just reading this last paragraph here, but this is a meditation on impermanence. So ready yourself for meditation. For this meditation, choose an anchor that allows you to reflect on impermanence. The breath can be done in the anchor here. Notice the breath as you do in basic meditation, which she outlined earlier in the book. But add on the intention of noticing how breath has a beginning as you inhale. It emerges and rises to a peak, then releases and returns to the body, ending at the bottom of the exhalation. Observe the life of each breath, beginning, expanding, releasing, ending. So is the nature of life. So is the nature of your life. So it really can allow you to be there in the moment and just pause there and then reflect on that. So this book is 156 pages, but it's not just a read that you're going to sit down in one day and read all at once. You could, but hopefully you'll reflect. So yes, there are also different activities throughout the several chapters that are in the book. This one says, explore the heritage of your background, do a genealogy project, visit the graves of your family, or just spend time in a cemetery. And then also one of my favorite activities that she has in her book is write your own obituary, which is a very powerful exercise. And I would encourage all of you to do that. And if you need to know how, please purchase Jean's book so you can see how she's outlined that. She's also has a number of journaling questions. And so we decided to make the book expand so people can actually write right into the book, and all the journaling pages you might have noticed are just a little bit on the light gray on the background so that it's very obvious on the pages that are meant to be written on, even though you could write on any of the pages. So I'll sum up with Before You Go is available for pre-order right now at innerpeacepress.com. We'll have the book in just about 3 weeks' time. And as a benefit of being an On the Bus, the Hub attendee, please use the code OTB on innerpeacepress.com to receive 15% off of your order. And then also, we have a virtual book launch coming up, and this will be on Facebook at the Inner Peace Press website. This is on Thursday, June 13th. Oh, wait a second. That's the same day as the trade show. So some of you will be tired from the trade show, but we're going to continue the fun that evening with our program. Yeah. So if you are inspired to write a book, I can help with that. So if you have any questions, I will be happy to hear them now. Thank you.
That was great. I like your last two slides a lot. And
Thank
yes,
you.
it is the same day as the show. So you didn't tell us what time.
7 p.m. Um, Central. So that's 5 p.m. Pacific.
Yeah, so that should be fine.
Yeah,
We'll
you
have,
just have enough time to eat and then come back and get on
right.
the computer
Yeah,
again.
that's good.
Yeah.
Is there a link you can put in the chat to sign up so people can get that on
I'll
their
tell you,
calendars?
I don't have a Facebook event for it yet, but I will be making one and I will share it with everybody. I'll do that next week. I haven't
Okay.
made the event yet. Yeah, but it'll be a Facebook Live.
Okay, let me stop
So,
speaker view and maybe you stop screen sharing
mhm.
and we'll see what questions we have out there. Jean, do you want to say anything about your book on the topic?
Heather has done such a great job presenting it to you. It's just it fills my heart with joy to bring this book into the world. I wrote a book about the thing that I need and I'm doing, and I just feel so happy and complete in being able to bring this to the world.
Wonderful. Questions?
I have a question. I'm curious if you help people that want to publish a book or the people you're publishing a book for to get the book into stores as well, retailers, or if you're just focused on selling it through Amazon and online distribution.
No, the books, the authors who I publish under the Interface Press imprint, yes, we work together to get the books into bookstores. We work on different avenues of getting out there to strangers, because it's every person who I'm working with needs a little something different. But yes, bookstores, we try to get them speaking engagements, podcast opportunities, and then outside of the box because sometimes it's not just bookstores, but it might be it might be a gift shop or a museum store or depend. And then with this dementia book, it's going to be a different outlet. Yeah, so that's the longer version.
And Michelle, just so you know, from my own experience on that topic, the work begins when the book is published.
Mm-hmm.
And that's a mistake that I didn't understand that. And I was so out of gas and just exhausted from the whole process of creating a book that, I needed to get on with life. And yeah, I just, the work begins now doing the stuff that they're doing right now.
Yeah, I'm familiar with that. I actually helped an author one time get ready to, get his book published. And so I understand a little bit of that world. So
Yeah.
it's a lot of
Other
work.
questions? Other questions out there? Yeah,
Yeah, I had a
Mike.
question about that. You talk about the book being kind of a workbook in some sense, and what how do you balance that as far as I have to put the book down to do the activities, or can I read through it? And how does the reading and the actual activities, how do they interact?
Well, so each chapter there's text, so you can just read that text, set it down, think about it, meditate on it, or just not, but think about it. And then each chapter also has activities, and each one has the meditations and then the journaling. So you can use those in different ways. Some of the questions you might need more than just 2 inches to journal it out. So you might have your own dedicated journal that you'll write it down with the meditations. Oh, I totally forgot to say this, is that Jean has audio recorded each of the guided meditations for each chapter. And that's a kind of a bonus that you get when you purchase the book, is you get the URL for that website that so you can listen to her while you have your eyes closed through that guided meditation.
Very cool.
Yeah.
You had mentioned there was some kind of pull-out page or something that you could take notes on, or maybe you talked about the color of the page, but I thought there was something
Yes.
different with the
Yeah, the journaling pages, we just made them a little bit gray in the background, just so that was an obvious, oh yes, this is where I'm supposed to write, just to make it a little bit different. Yes, but there are also different places within the book that you can write. We also added some mandalas and other things that if you were drawn to it, you could color them in as well. So it's a it's a journal in itself, but it also can be used alongside your own dedicated journal.
Interesting. Okay. Jean, so maybe I missed this. Running these things, I don't always hear everything, but were you inspired by a event to get you to pick this as a way of life and a book and all that?
My way of coming to this work has been long. I will say, and this is in the book, my initial fascination, if you want to call it that, with death was actually a postpartum event where I went to a funeral and I developed a very strong death phobia. That was a negative experience. But then I found yoga and I started on a spiritual path, which helped me to develop some faith and trust in life. And being a mom has definitely impacted me. And then, yes, I have had a series of losses over the last number of years that finally landed me in the knowledge that I also wanted to work with people at end of life, but also continue to encourage people to live their best life so that when we get to that end, we're not left with regrets or scrambling for closure or thinking, wow, I missed the boat. I didn't do that thing.
Got it. Okay. I guess the only any other questions?
Well, I'd like to quiz the audience here. Okay, based on my presentation last week, because of my awesome microphone, that story that Jean just told, where does that belong in the presentation if she gives one?
In the beginning. In the
Oh,
end.
that hurts.
At the
Heather,
end.
at the
At the
end,
end.
that's the closer. So take it home, give them value, and then
But that's
that was
why I
a-
had it at the end, Mike. That's why
that
we
was
did it.
perfect, Chris. I was going to say that was the perfect way to finish. That was great. Thank you for paying attention, and then you broke my heart. If I had feelings, they'd be hurt right now.
I still would have put it in the beginning and in the end. How about that? Maybe a teaser in the beginning and the finish at the end, but I don't know. Yeah, we did it at the end. Thank you. All
Nicely
right.
done.
Other questions, comments, feedback, heckling, anything? All right. Very good, Heather. Jean, thank you for coming. Please come back. The only other question I had is, are we having chair yoga today with all this yoga talk?
No.
Okay.
Sorry.
All right. Thank yous, testimonials, and announcements, and then we will go home, or you won't stay here. Deborah, go ahead.
I have an announcement. I went to an Alignable Smart Connect, which I had never gone to before, where in a half an hour you meet 7 people. And one of the people that I met, which was on a Monday 2 weeks ago, was someone who worked with federal contracts. And I had done a lot of work with the federal government. So we talked about that, and I sent him my material. And on Wednesday, he contacted me and said, we have 2 RFPs. Do you want to work on them? And one I could and one I couldn't. And so we met on Friday to discuss what I would do. And then it was due on Monday. So I worked on the weekend and that RFP went in. So hopefully something will happen. It's for curriculum design. But it was an amazing 1, 2, 3 situation.
And that is the power of networking, right? Even on Alignable. Good for you.
Right.
All right, Jean, thank you. Testimonials or announcements? Anything coming up where you want to announce or plug?
I just would like to say thank you, and thank you to Heather. And I'm developing my business. I'm a beginner. I'm a novice. So thank you for having me here. I'm a new empty nester. So there's a lot of room and possibility. So just happy to be here. Thanks.
Oh, maybe we should have a 1-to-1 at some point. And normally I'm dressed a little better, but today's a big day in the Rangers world. So I had to support and wear my colors today. Anyway, Bodil.
Very well done, Heather. I did really enjoy your presentation, and Jean, your book looks pretty damn amazing. Yes, we need to have a one-to-one as well. As you know, I do have a booth on the 13th of June, but I won't be there personally. I'll be flying. So my colleague James is coming along, and James should join you on Monday, Chris, just to see what everything's all about. Even although I've sent him screenshots of the hows and the whys and the wherefores. And yes, you will also get your artwork.
Thank you. Very good. Where are we going now? Heather, wonderful presentation. You're up next.
Okay, thank you. And yes, thank you, Chris, for allowing me to present. I always like being challenged to be succinct and clear about what I'm doing. It helps me a lot. And also very much thank you to Jean for being here, because it's great to have the person behind the book to be here to talk as well. And well, an announcement again is that we're having a virtual book launch on the 13th, but not until before that. I'll be speaking at the virtual trade show on June 13th. I'll be doing a little bit of chair yoga stretching before the whole program starts, in case you want to unwind and take a little meditative breath. And then I'll be speaking about writing memoirs in the program itself. And I look forward to working with Mike to polish my speech during that time, and I'm enjoying working with David as well in finishing up his book in time for the 13th. So thank you all.
I'll tell you, one of the keys to all of that is the traffic and having people at your talk. It's very difficult to give a great talk without great numbers in front of you. That if 2 or 3 people are sitting there, it's deflating, if you know what I mean. So if you could get 10, 20, 30 people coming to your talk, I bet you'll knock it out of the park, because you're so good and you support yourself so well with your graphics. I have a question about the books, and maybe now is not the time or the place, but I will tee it up and allow you to close me at a date to be named later. But if I wanted your company publishing my book, can we switch at this point? Because I heard what you said. You edited mine. You didn't publish mine, correct?
Right. You self-published yours.
So we should have that talk.
Yes, we should.
Okay. All right, Mike, go ahead.
Oh, well, thank you very much. You know, to drum up numbers, I want to invite everybody to my Toastmasters Club. I'm a member of 2 clubs, one in Florida, also here in Lima, but they're virtual. So I'm going to send out a link to join my Toastmasters Palm Beach State College, and that is Wednesday at 7 p.m. Eastern. It's every week. And I'm the president of the club, at least for the next 6 weeks before they have me deposed. But in the meantime, let corruption reign. I'll let you come in. It's a great way to practice public speaking. It's not outright promoting business, but that actually could be a nice step back. It's a way that if you're presenting at this, if you're presenting next month, I know the management, I can get you in to give a mini presentation, get some Toastmasters level feedback on that.
Very good. Thank you. Michelle.
So the only announcement that I have, and it's unfortunately a closed event, but it's just an exciting celebration for me, that I was invited to speak at a professional conference in August for the Public Relations Society of America, their regional conference. So I'm going to talk about how PR professionals can prove their value to their boss with a data-driven approach. So.
Well, and I have an announcement about you, that you're our presenter next week here.
Yeah.
So I'm excited about that. And we're going to meet at some point in between now and then. Okay, David Quick.
All right. I want to announce that I finished the manuscript for my book. And that happened in large part to Heather. Had a good team behind me, and she was a key part of that. And I look forward to working with her through the next steps and to get it complete.
So there is no reason at all in anyone's mind that that book will be alive and well at the June 13th trade show. Yes?
I would say yes.
I'm really looking at Heather to answer that question.
I mean, there were so many negatives there. I'm trying to understand.
Right. Is the book, are we going to have it live and ready on the 13th?
100%.
All right. So he can have a tangible copy in his hand.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Really excited.
Be amazed.
David, proud of you. This was a bucket list item for you this year that you wanted done by the end of the year. Or was it the end of last year?
I think end of last year.
Oh, well then never mind, but you got it done. All right, very good. Thank you. Jeannie.
Wait, I gotta finish laughing first.
I was all
So I have a
ready to give him
story.
props for getting it done 6 months
I-
ahead of time, you know?
I love it. I totally love it. But that's okay. You know what? He got it done before the end of the year. He just didn't say what year. He
Yeah,
just said
that's
at the
true.
end of the year, right? So he got it done. So I'm excited for him. I can't wait to see the book. So Jeannie Asante with Babs. So I too am presenting on June 13th. I look forward to having people there. So anyone that you know that wants to quadruple their business, they might want to show up, because that's what happened to me the last time I was there. So let's talk about how that can happen for you or for somebody that you know. What an exciting way to get a phone call to be said, thank you for inviting me to this event. My business just blew out of the water on a free online event. Wow. Right? So I'm excited about the June 13th, but I want to tell you a little story about the Redox. Everybody knows I'm a fan, right? I totally love my gel. It's just like, my gosh, I can't tell you my go-to thing. Who here doesn't have a tube laying around in their house somewhere? Well, you need to go get one. If you don't have one, you need to go get one. And let me tell you why. So we just moved my son to Maryland. Still not an easy subject for me to talk about, but I'm going to talk about it because of this. My daughter-in-law she really couldn't move her leg. It was just so in pain from the move. It was crazy, right? She had tried the gel once before. It didn't quite work. But I said to her, listen, try it again. The worst thing that can happen is it doesn't work again. You'll still be in pain. But what happens if you're not in pain? She put it on. The next morning, she got up and she was like this. I cannot believe it. I'm not feeling an ounce of pain. And all she did was put on that gel. So if you guys don't have a tube of that gel sitting somewhere in your house, all I can say is shame on you. Because it is a product that will help you when you have any kind of pain that's going on in your body. I promise you. And if it doesn't work the first time, try it a second time because it worked. It totally works. So with that, call Joanne. Thank you so much, Joanne, for making my expedient order so that I can give her a full tube instead of just a little tube that I left her with.
So that's
That's
what
why
it
I
was
needed
all
it.
about.
Yeah.
Okay,
And
good.
pretty much that's about it. I look forward to hearing from everyone again. And Chris, back to you.
So as you said that, I just put it on my Achilles tendon. I played softball the other night and the ground's really hard and I pulled an Achilles or something and I forgot to put it on this morning. So thank you. And whenever I have the excess, I put it on my hands because my hands get beaten up a lot too. So
Let me just say real quick, like I got this because the lower back, I was losing a lidocaine patch like crazy. You're not supposed to use them more than once every 10 days, but I was using one, I would say 5 days out of 7. And that's not healthy for you, right? Because what's in the lidocaine patch is not good for you. So I got that because I said, let me try it. But here's the best part. I mean, it worked. I haven't used the lidocaine patch since, and I haven't had any back pain since, which is great. Best part is that my hands were hurting me, and then they stopped hurting me. And I'm saying, wow, look how great is that? My hands stopped hurting me. I wonder why. Why? Because I got to get the gel on my hands to get it on my back, right? So it kind of took care of 2 things at one shot without me even realizing it. So again, get a tube. If once you get one tube, you're not going to want to be without it. I'm telling you, it's just a crazy, insanity little product. I love it.
All right. With that said, Joanne, you missed your introduction and your thank yous, testimonials, and announcements, but I think you just got a whole bunch. So go ahead, do your thing.
I can thank Jeannie for being so vocal about it. I'm going to be vocal too about the same gel. So I always say don't leave home without it, and I'm going to now say don't leave your home without it. So 2 days ago, I was closing the kitchen window. It's an old style window. It goes up and down on strings. And I usually just press the sill and then bring the rest down. Well, I pressed the sill and the string just broke at that moment and landed on, so my fingers were trapped on both hands between the 2 sills. And I was completely stuck. I couldn't get out. There was a kitchen sink across from me. My husband was far away and nobody was around in the village. So I was screaming. That was the only thing I had. I mean, I'm pretty flexible, agile, athletic. I could not get my foot over and try to push the sill up. So I was completely stuck. And eventually a neighbor showed up and released me, had to come through the garden and up the stairs. Thank God the door wasn't closed, and released me. But that was probably 5 minutes. But when I'm thinking that my flute playing fingers are getting crushed and I don't know what's happening, I immediately went to my husband and he put the gel on. And so we were putting gel on for at least an hour, maybe 2 hours. There is nothing. There's free mobility, no pain, no bruising. The healing started right away and immediate. So that's why I now say don't leave your home without the gel. It works, it's real, it's part of our body. It's absolutely at the nub of how our body finds damage and signals for healing. So Jeannie's right. You should have a tube at home. That's all. And I'm going to be giving a talk on redox at on June 13th as well. So be there. And
I
if you're
actually have
there,
it.
I'll give you a little tube. Like I'll send you a little tube, Let me know.
I have it
Yeah.
in 3 rooms in my house.
Okay.
So yeah, and including here at my desk. How did you put it on? So did you just put it on like you normally would, or were you immersing your fingers in it?
No, it was just getting wiped down by my husband. I mean, apparently I was so distraught that, and listen, I've been out on the lake in high winds, in very difficult situations, alone on the sailboat, never lost my cool, always stayed focused, even though I was capsizing, got back on. Like, so I've handled situations. This one, I think once I was released from the from the window, and I went into his wing, where his office is and everything, and he started taking care of me. I lost it. He was just putting redox on my hands continuously. So that's what he was doing. But I have a story just for all of you. I have to share it quickly. So somebody got burned and he only had enough, and I don't even know this person, got burnt. It was a serious burn and he only had enough redox to put on one hand and then rushed to the hospital. And as he started to be treated, it was noticed that one hand, a certain part of the hand, was not completely like covered in burn marks and blistering and all that. And he realized that that was the area that he was able to put redox signaling molecules on right away after that accident. So just know that the healing is real. So what was your question? I was carried
Oh,
away.
how did you put it on? Like, I think I have a
Ah,
broken finger. I dropped my
applying
motorcycle
this.
the other day, and anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, so put it on all the time. I mean, I have a broken toe from jumping off the sailboat, and landing on a rock. There's all stuff on the bottom of the
Yeah,
wing.
it's
So
life.
it doesn't move, because that's like, if it's a structural thing, it's not going to change the structure, but it's going to reduce the inflammation and fix everything around it. But it can't like reset the bones.
Okay,
That's what
very
doctors
good.
can do.
Thank you. And yes, for those of you that didn't catch it, June 13th, we have an event. And we would like it if all of you would attend and tell your friends. And it's a lot of fun. And anybody who's been once comes back time after time after time. And there's probably a reason why. So thank you. And thank you for coming here. We'll see you next week. Bring a friend, tell people we don't bite and all of that. Thank you.
Thanks. Good to see everyone. Bye-bye.
And no
Glad I
chair
caught
yoga today.
I'm glad I
Bye.
caught your presentation, Heather. Thank you.
Oh, thanks, Joanne.
Jeannie, what are
Oh,
you
Joanne,
landing a
I
plane
went
over
to
there?
I'm trying to take off. I'm trying to take flight.
Joanne, I went
Jeannie,
to that
thanks.
presentation that
Oh.
from, I can't remember the guy's name, that he gave that whole presentation about the
Brain?
doctor who did, with the redox signaling and saying about all that.
The brain
That's
mapping?
really good summary. Yes. Yeah.
That's phenomenal. And that's a new
Yeah.
study, brain mapping.
Mhm.
Like we know, like us who've been taking the
Mhm.
molecules for all these years, but other people want the validation, and that's like huge. Brain
Yeah.
mapping. Yeah. Jeannie, thanks for always speaking out. I think you're changing lives.
I'm
Continue.
telling you, if I cannot tell, the pain that my back was in, I'm not kidding, was really bad. And like,
Amazing.
yeah, and it gets to the point that sometimes I couldn't bend over to wash my feet. It was really bad. Like,
Yeah, yeah.
and if I didn't do the lidocaine patches, I couldn't even like function during the day. I mean, I know people didn't know about it because what am I going to do? I'm going to tell everybody I have a bad back. It's just
know.
not, doesn't do anything for me, right? Doesn't do anything
Right.
for anybody.
Yep.
And you didn't even know about it. I just said, give me the gel and let me try it, right? And so I said, let me try it and put it on there. If it doesn't work, guess what? No harm, no foul. But now that I know it works and it does such a great job and it's just consistent, and all I do is, and I'm not kidding, I don't even use a dime's worth. It's not even that I'm using like a whole tube in my back every night. It's like a dime's worth every night. And that covers my back and my hands, and it's just like insane. It's absolutely insane. So I cannot keep it a secret. You can't keep something like that a secret because somebody out there is as much pain as I am and not talking about it too. And they
Yeah.
need to know that this thing exists.
Jeannie, you know how I use it? So I get way too much sun out here, and I don't wear a lot of sun stuff, or if any, and you don't always
Mhm.
know when you're going to get it. But when I come home and I know I got it, I put it on my forehead and my cheeks, and I don't
It heals
peel
it, right?
anymore. I never peel.
That's great. I put it on
Yeah,
my
your
eyes
skin is
now, and I'm
healing
seeing the
faster,
fine
yeah.
lines aren't as prominent as they were before. So
Oh,
it's
maybe I should try that.
interesting.
Yeah, under my eyes or something.
So that's something else I don't talk about, but I'm very conscious about my eyes. When you see me in person, you see the fine lines in my eyes. The rest of my face looks great because I take care of it. I took care of my eyes too, but somehow it just aged more than the rest of my face. And so it drives me crazy. And I see people that go for surgery and I say to myself, I should just do it. And then I'm going, no, don't do it. Don't do it. Because I'm not like that kind of person. So I don't want to look at the cat lady. I want somebody to mess up my face.